Hello and welcome back to Coach Bill's Sports Show. I'm Coach Bill. Thank you for joining us. If it's your first time here, we do a little bit of college football, a little pro football, a little fantasy football. We even play some college NCAA 14 when we have some time. But thank you for joining us. If you're coming back, thank you for coming back. First time, thank you. Everything you do definitely helps the show. So let's huddle up and let's get into it today. All right, so today, breaking down Florida this season. Florida has a lot of interesting pieces this year. Brand new coaching staff. Can they turn the ship around? What's a realistic goal for them? So before I get into the coaching staff and how they're going to do this season, there's one main player from Florida this year that I think alone can change the outcome of a couple games for them. And that's Anthony Richardson. Used to go under the moniker of AR-15, but because of some things that are happening here in the United States, has decided to distance himself from that. If he can progress his game and how much it progresses, he's a game changer for them. His game right now is very raw. Last season it was very raw. His leadership came into a question a couple times later in the season. If he can improve on both of those, then the Gators could do some stuff this year. It's just really, it depends on how that works out for him. The new coaching staff didn't have any favors done for them because their first 4 games this season are nasty, for lack of a better word. They're just nasty. So in the first 4 games, they see Utah, who, if you've watched one of my previous videos, I have as a college football playoff team this year. They have Kentucky, who's a top 3 team in the East. They have USF, nothing against USF, but Florida should be able to win that surely on talent alone. And then they have Tennessee, who's another top team in the East. That's their first 4 games. A lot of this season, the tone for the season, we'll find out after these first 4 games. Because this first 4 games is essentially just, it's bad luck for the new coaching staff. That's the best way I can put it. This new coaching staff, it truly is probably the worst start to the season I've seen for a new coaching staff in a while. They start off with 2 of the top SEC East teams, and one of them being a rival. Depending on who you ask, Tennessee and Florida are rivals. So, one of them being a rival, you've got Utah, again, who I have a college football playoff team, who's not a slouch from out west, and Kentucky. And it's just, it's rough to see them doing something other than 1-3 in this stretch. Nothing against USF. It's a wonderful team. But that's the team they should be able to win. They should be able to beat. As long as Florida focuses on each opponent as they come. If they get caught looking ahead, USF can sneak up and start their season 0-4. And then that's some real... It's going to take a lot to dig yourself out of an 0-4 start to the season. Florida's got talent, though. Florida has talent. The question is, how will the talent progress under the new coaching staff, and how will they adapt to the new coaching staff? So we'll figure it out across these first 4 games. We'll get a good glimpse. But I think the next 3 are where you really see where Florida is at this year. The next 3 is Eastern Washington, Missouri, and LSU. All 3 are very winnable games for them. Very winnable games. And if they can come out of those first 4 games, little battle tested, Maybe they went 1-3. If they can come out of those first four and hit this stretch at 1-3, they can be 4-3 by the end of this stretch and going into their bye, which sets them up very nicely for the end of the season. But if they let the spiral hit, they should beat Eastern Washington. They should beat Missouri. LSU isn't a cakewalk. LSU is honestly one of the teams I'm having the most trouble predicting this year. Every time I go back and do them, I can see them beating a team that I didn't see last time, and then I look at another team and I'm like, oh, they can't touch them. So LSU's a real wild card this year. But I have Florida going 3-0 in these games. Eastern Washington, Missouri, and LSU. So they go into their bye at 4-3, which is good. Got a lot of momentum from a 3-game win streak going into your bye, and you're going to need it because after the bye, you have the biggest cocktail party in the South, Georgia and Florida in Jacksonville, and then you have Texas A&M. And I'm sorry, Florida, Tim Tebow and that squad's not walking back through the door. Georgia is not a team you're going to compete with this year. Texas A&M is not a team you're going to compete with this year. Which sucks coming out of a bye with all that momentum to go from 4-3 to 4-5. But you can really test and see where you're at if you're Florida and their new coaching staff. You can really see where you're at. So you can get a good judge of, okay, hey, we thought we had a couple pieces here and there, but let's really spend this offseason trying to pull in maybe some transfers at this position. Or maybe let's hit the recruiting trail and make sure we focus on these two positions because we really need to build some depth there. There's always the any given Saturday logic. If you're in a game and you're playing on the field, you have a chance to win. But it's extremely unlikely to me that Georgia or Texas A&M lose to Florida. Lucky for Florida, after that, they get a nice little 3-game stretch again. South Carolina, a little bit of a unknown at this point in the season. We haven't even started the season, so South Carolina with Rattlers, a little bit of unknown, but it's a winnable game for Florida. Looking ahead, it's a very winnable game. And if coming out of the bye, or coming out of Georgia and Texas A&M, you're 4-5. You need to win 2 of these last 3. 3-3 is what I've got them at, but if you can go 2-1, it's completely understandable. And it's very possible for them, if not extremely likely. South Carolina is the only one I have a question with in this stretch of the season, and that's more on South Carolina than it is on Florida. But then they have Vanderbilt. Again, I'll say it every time. Thank you, Vanderbilt. You are a wonderful school to help the GPA for the SEC just stay high. You have a wonderful baseball team. You put out a 3-point nightmare of a basketball team every once in a while. But on the football field against Florida, I just don't think you have enough. And then you have Florida State to end the season. Florida State, they have some talent, but this is one of those big brother, little brother situations almost. And as a new coach, you got to win this game. You've got the more talented team. You have the more talented quarterback. And you got to win this game. So I think they do it. I'm almost willing to put the word guarantee on that one, but I don't want to just yet. Because Florida State isn't as deep as they were last year, and I want to see the progression of their players before I put that guarantee word on there. So yeah, South Carolina, Vanderbilt, Florida State. I have them personally going 3-0 in this section, coming up to a 7-5 win season for your first time as your first SEC coaching job. Not bad at all. You get a nice bowl bid out of it. Get a good bowl bid. You get some big wins for your culture and big wins for your recruiting as a Florida team, especially beating Florida State there at the end of the season. In the talent-rich environment that is Florida, the state of Florida, if Florida can continue to win and rebuild to what they have been in the past, Florida's always going to be deadly. It's just one of those things where you're the only SEC school in the state. And for the kids that want to stay close to home and play in the SEC, they have one option, and it's you, Florida. So, Florida, 7-5 team, with losses to Utah, Kentucky, Tennessee, Georgia, and Texas A&M. They get unlucky drawing Texas A&M this year from the West, but is what it is. At least they're not Tennessee and having to play Alabama every year from the West. So it could be worse. But yeah, 7-5. Good season for the first season for that head coach. Nice bowl. I think it'll be like a Christmas time bowl. I think that's where the slot kind of hits for them, is the Christmassy bowl slot at 7-5. But depending on how the league shakes out, they may end up just a little bit higher because the SEC moniker does hold a little bit more weight. Fair or unfair, it just does. So, 7-5 Florida, bowl bound at the end of the year. Good first season for your new head coach. A lot to build off of. Anthony Richardson, he could put himself into the early rounds. Right now, you got two SEC quarterbacks in the top 5 with Bryce Young from Alabama and Will Lewis? Yeah, Will Lewis from Kentucky. Anthony Richardson can put himself, maybe not in the top 5, but he can definitely put himself in the top 10, top 15. And that's a big move. It's a big move for somebody who's currently into the first, early second round slated to end up in the top 15. He can do it with a good season in Florida. So, thank you for watching. This has been Coach Bill's Sports Show. Please like, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I hope you have a wonderful day. And I'll see you in the next video. Ready, break.